here from 4 Lock and Load, just on a quick guide just to show you how to clean your shotguns. Basic kit that you'll need. A couple of things. Cleaning rods, brass, aluminium, or ones which we prefer to use here, which is the Paradox rod. Beautiful bit of kit. Or you also have the ball snakes. All of which are useful. They all have their merits. The wooden one, you can change from fossil bronze to your mop, or jags for your patches, modified ones like this. We tend to use an Napier gun cleaner. It's a cleaner and an oil lubricant protector all in one. Also like to use the express gun oil to get in around your ejectors. Gun grease, can't stress this enough. Get that onto the knuckles or anywhere where you have wear points and pressure points on the action. You also need some cotton wool buds, really good for getting into those nitty gritty places. A sock, found a use for all those spare socks you've got, I'll explain more later, and kitchen roll. With a shotgun, break it down first off, it is empty. It's a new Beretta 692 here, very nice it is too. First off, get onto the barrels. Gun cleaner. Down the barrels, a couple of quick sprays, into the side of the ejectors, a little opening that there is, and then leave it. You've got to allow the cleaning material, the cleaning fluid, to do its business on the inside there. Next, pick up the lock. Have a look on the inside, grab yourself some kitchen roll, and give it just a once over on the inside. You want to be getting the metal parts out of here. So if there's any moisture at all on that top surface, clean them off. Now if it's hard to reach places, get yourself a cotton wool bud. Just like on the inside of here, where the lock is, just go up the inside. It's amazing how much you'll actually get out of it. If it does get too dirty, swap it around. They're not expensive. You don't want to be putting grit somewhere else. Go onto the inside. Very simple. Now, the sock. Put your hand inside it. Spray some cleaner on. Now, the idea with this is that you're not spraying oil absolutely everywhere. You're getting it on the places that you need it. Put your fingers to the end of it and just run it up and down the centre, staying on the metal as much as you can. Around the side of the action as well. Make sure it's nicely cleaned. You will see, if you hold it up to the light, you'll see a reflection of where you've actually got to. If you've missed any places, they show up nice and easy. Get it in there. Simple. Right. The stock and the action. Again, kitchen roll on the inside. Over the knuckle on the inside there. And in particular down on the inside of here, you tend to get a lot of grit gets under there. Even if you're a standing gun, you don't have to be walking gun or pigeon shooting or anything like that. You will get grit on the bottom of there. And you don't want that going onto the pressure points, because otherwise it will start to score. So give that a good clean. If there are any places that you missed and you just can't get to them that easily, just use a cotton wool bud and it will very, very quickly, very easily clean out of there. See the amount of grit that's on that, and it looked reasonably clean. Right, once you've done this a few times, you won't need to put too much gun cleaner onto your side, because it'll have so much on it anyway. It'll be absolutely fine. Give it a quick rub down, all over the whole action. I don't like spraying when it comes to the action, because when you start to get oil into the wood, it starts to soften it. And that you do not want. You'll see it on older guns where it starts to get darker around the side here. Actually, if I just go like that, put a bit of oil there, you'll see how it's darkened the stock. So go over it, around the inside of the action as well. Around the knuckles, slots outside onto your top lever pin. Now, on the underside here, you'll find that that can start to rust after a while because you haven't had any cleaner on it. Get your thumb and finger right under it. If you look onto your Berettas, if you hold your top lever across, there's a pin which comes out the side here. Press that in, and your top lever will come across. That way, you can get to that little bit of metal which you'll be missing. Give it a good wipe over. Done and dusted. Trigger. Don't forget your trigger guard. Front there. Brilliant. Okay. A little bit of gun grease. And a very, very small amount. It's literally that amount will do most of this action. It only needs a smear. Don't want to be a grease monkey, because as soon as you start closing the action, you'll start to get all over your tweeds. All over your clothes. Touch more. Just a very small smear. In those hard to reach places where there's still going to be contact, use cotton wool bud. Very small amount applied to the end of it. Just go around these knuckles here. To the side there, where you have your ejector pins coming through. They need a bit of grease on there as well. Also acts as a barrier for any water that might get in there. Okay. Locking lugs at the top. Bit on there. Right, so that's your action done. And your lock. Back onto the barrels. This is that time to soak now. So basically, I'll use the paradox rod for this one. This cleans incredibly effectively. You rotate it as you go in, you'll find that you won't be pulling fibres out. You slide all the way to the end, out the other side. See how dirty that is? Just keep pulling it backwards and forwards. This polishes your barrels. So just keep going up and down, up and down. 9 or 10 times. Bottom barrel, exactly the same. Right, the other thing which you have with these paradox rods is a brilliant invention, a brilliant idea. You push your rod all the way to the end, unscrew the rear cap, and you've got a little oil bob which hooks onto the end of here. Now a little tip, to stop that getting dirty, get a bit of kitchen roll, put the hook through the kitchen roll onto your bob. Now, oil the kitchen roll, not the bob itself. Don't need a huge amount. Yeah, just so it sort of soaks around the top of it there. That's what's going to be in contact with your barrels. The rest of this is going to pull any crud that's left in your barrel out. So put that on there. See that? That would have been what was left on your oil bob. You don't want that happening. Unhook it. Don't turn it around and reuse it. There's a chance you get that back in your barrel. Kitchen roll's not expensive stuff. Found Bounty works really well. Other brands are available. Hold up. Put it back on. A bit more oil. Bottom barrel. Just make really sure it is clean. Now, chokes. People say leave them out of the gun. And in all fairness, if you've cleaned your shotgun properly, you're going to have a very small amount of grease on the threads, you're going to have a very small amount of oil on the rest of the choke, so it's not going to corrode, provided you clean it properly. So, now, chokes are out. Let's give this a quick clean on the inside. Okay. Chokes themselves, give them a quick wipe. You don't need much. The inside has been done when you were doing the barrels themselves. Nice and shiny. Oil onto the choke. Again, you do not need much of this. It's not so much a lubricant, it's a barrier. Nice. Beautifully clean. Very, very small amount of grease. Very small amount. That will stop it seizing when you next come to take it out if you want to change your chokes over. Okay. Next one. Grease. Tighten it up. All it needs is just a little nip. Don't need to do these overly tight. You're not going for world's strongest man here. You won't come undone. Right, now. Do this again, over the barrel itself. Do the action around the ejectors. Wipe off any excess that you may have had around the outside of your barrels from using your rods, and your mops, and your jags, and fossil bronzes, and things like that. A place that often gets neglected when it comes to your shotguns. And that is actually the underside of the rib. That gap you've got there, your mid-rib as well, in there. You will find rust coming in there. And if you have a look at any of the older guns, over and under, side by side, doesn't matter. If it's a raised rib that has got a gap under it, I bet you will see rust on a lot of them. So you just get a bit of kitchen roll again, fold it up so it's a little bit stiffer, run it under there. So it's like that, and literally just run it up and down it. Take any grime out from underneath there. Actually cleaned this gun earlier, so it doesn't actually need any more. Put the sock back on. On there. Very, very lightly spray in between that gap. All that vapour which you're seeing out of this can is oil. So if you think about that, you don't actually need to hold your finger right down on it. Okay, gun oil just onto the central bit of the ejectors. That's all we need. Just work them backwards and forwards. Same on the other side. Wipe off the excess. Any excess oil, wipe it off. It's not going to be needed. There's a chance it can get into your wood. Don't want that happening. Don't want any wood softening, cracking eventually. It starts to pivot, you're going to be worth nothing. Right, so quick wipe over, all done. Very little bit of grease onto that recess there. Very small amount. Very small amount. Just on here where we slide, chance could be sliding up against your action on there. Very, very small amount. You'd be amazed at how far that small amount of grease goes. You really don't need much at all. You can see it completely coating it. So actually, even that's a little bit too much. So that's like the excess. Cool. Great. So, put it back together. Close it up. Now, underneath that part, you want to make sure it is just a surface covering. Back on with the lock. Bit on there. Wipe it all down. Just in case you missed any spots. And there you have it. Lovely, clean, over under Beretta.